Torture Talk. Like, share, consider subscribing if you like the content. Well, today I'm going to be reacting to a conversation between a young college student and Miss Christine Hawkins. Now, Miss Christine Hawkins is a pro-lifer who goes around to different colleges and different campuses and different places, and she basically debates with people, about when life starts, and stuff like that. But this one particular college student called her out on some things, and I'm going to be reacting to what she said and how Miss Hawkins, does her thing here. So let's get into the video.
You're right. We should just keep on killing the babies left and right and never have a discussion about this.
You're privileged as hell.
Women don't need this.
That they need to be supported.
Women don't need this, ma'am.
Listen, I'm telling you, anytime I'm pregnant, I will have an abortion. I don't know about you. Because as you know as well,
Xavier University should be really proud of the student body.
Hi, I think that the legislature that you're trying to pass puts you down a very weird rabbit hole, and I don't understand, there's a lot of things I don't understand. So first thing, what is the citizenship of unborn fetuses conceived in the United States?
It's the same as children who are born prematurely in the United States or who are birthed in hospitals.
So if I were to become pregnant right now on U.S. soil, I would be pregnant with a U.S. citizen.
Well, no, not right now with our laws, because right now your child is in
Okay, no, I'm talking about your
tissue.
post Roe versus Wade world.
So let me stop it right there. Here's my issue I have with young people, right? Is they'll come up with a scenario that isn't really in existence, or a scenario that they know that they will be right in that scenario. So they'll say something like, let's say, I don't know, let's say, for instance, she didn't know what 2 + 2 was, the Miss Hawkins. And she'll say, what is 2 + 2 in this area? And then Miss Hawkins will be like, well, what do you mean? And she'll say, well, it's 4. Like, she'll have, like, a lot of young people, what they do is they create these analogies that they have the answer for because in their head they drew it up. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that this is where she's going with it. This is where she's going with it. And another thing, when I'll get into the other part too. So let's continue.
That child would be a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. I am not a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So if I were to go back to my country, where it is legal for me to do what I want to do with my body, would that be illegal to the U.S.?
Okay, you see what I mean? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Won't you go do that and find out? You're asking her something. She doesn't control border policies and stuff like that. Like, what does that have to do with anything? You're asking a question that has nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? It applies to you because you're saying, well, I'm not a U.S. citizen. And if I have a baby here, then obviously the baby, if you have it, listen, this is how it works. This is how it works. And this is why I think that she doesn't understand this. If you get pregnant, if you are not from this country, and you get pregnant by a person from America, and you go to another country, and you have the baby, that baby is now considered a part of that country. If you have the baby in the air going to the country, that baby is considered a part of that country. Period. That's how it works. It doesn't work like you saying, oh, well, if I have a baby here, if I'm pregnant and I go to my country and have an abortion, is that illegal? Listen, that's not her point. That's not Miss Hawkins' point. But what I'm saying to you is, if you have a baby in another country, that baby belongs to that country. Just like if you got pregnant outside of the United States and you came to the United States and you had a baby, that baby's a U.S. citizen now.
That an offense to the U.S. because I would be killing a U.S. citizen.
That's a very good question.
This is your rabbit hole. And then, because I'm assuming that you're one of the Republicans.
You won't be killing a U.S. citizen. You won't be. Because your baby will be a part of that country if you had the baby there. You got pregnant in the United States, it doesn't matter.
Who are against illegal immigration, Mexicans,
And see,
whatever.
She has a whole nother problem. Her problem isn't abortion. Her problem is something internal. She did like, and I'll get into it.
You cannot. If I were a Mexican woman that you want to deport, and I say I am pregnant with a U.S. citizen, what are you going to do? You cannot deport Mexican women after that. This is the rabbit hole that you're going to create.
Sure.
And I think by that.
And what this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about these young kids. They have an underlying base issue of something else. And what they try to do is they try to conflate it all together. She try to put it all together. And it's not the case. She has a different issue with abortion. Her issue is not really with abortion so far. Her issue is with immigrants and the policies with immigrants that may get pregnant. That's an issue. She's basically saying, well, if there's a Mexican woman, you cannot deport a Mexican woman if she's pregnant. So what's your point? Like, what does that have to do with life begins at conception? Like, what are we doing here?
Of what I'm saying, you're going to reply with, I don't know.
You see, and this is another thing that I hate that young kids do. They're too smart for their own good. What I'm saying is they're actually dumb. So what they do is, she's saying, I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say, you're going to reply with, I don't know. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to throw a whole bunch of stuff out there that she probably don't even know what you're talking about. Not the fact that she's not intelligent enough to know what you're talking about, but you're going to give her some scenarios that has nothing to do with nothing. And then you're going to say, see, I told you she was going to say, I don't know. I told you. I know that's exactly what you're going to do at the end of this video. I can tell you right now, because you're just going to muddy the waters up so much. This is what politicians do. That's what they do. They do the same shit. They muddy up waters and then they try to say, oh, well, see, I told you wouldn't know. And it's like, well, you're giving me scenarios that you created. Of course I'm not going to fucking know.
What it's going to
No, I actually think this is actually a really good conversation. That's why I'm here. Because this is a
These are
conversation.
things that you do not consider.
Well, this is a conversation we need to have.
You see what I mean? Like, these are things that you're not considering. How do you know what she considers? Did you ask her? Did you say, hey, do you consider this? And that's another thing that young people do. They always come out the gate with some sarcastic shit. It can just never be a conversation. It's like always, they have to always start with something. And that's how you know when somebody don't know what the fuck they're talking about or they're just upset about something. Because out the gate, they're talking to you with emotion. They ain't say, hey, listen, Miss Hawkins, how do you feel about this and this and this? They don't want to have a conversation about it. It's like this and this and this and they make statements and they say, see, and this is what you ain't worried about because you ain't doing that. And this is the reason why you're like this. And this is the reason why you're a clown. That's what they do.
Excited that we're actually having this conversation. Like, this is a good conversation to have.
Well, I'm glad.
So what happens to an illegal immigrant woman who comes from Mexico or Central America or whatever, becomes impregnated in the United States, and now she's carrying a child? Should she be deported? I would say no.
Okay.
Like, that's super
Okay,
simple.
so I am from a country where a lot of Americans, vacation. And if I were to have sex with an American man and I were to become pregnant with an American child, because you know that any American person's any child that they have is a U.S. citizen.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's only a U.S. citizen if you have the baby here. What are you talking about? It's not a U.S. citizen if you don't have the baby here. If you get pregnant by a guy in America and you go to Jamaica and have the baby in Jamaica, it's a Jamaican citizen. That's how it works. It doesn't, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I got pregnant, because it'll be plenty of people saying that. Oh, well, I got pregnant in America. Like, no, they don't work like that. It's only if you get pregnant somewhere else. If you got pregnant in Russia and you came to America and had the baby in America, it's an American citizen. That's how it works. What are you talking about?
I deported that child conceived in my country under the laws in my country where I am allowed to deport children.
You're going to deport your own child?
I mean, where I am allowed to have an abortion in my own country.
What do you mean, are you allowed? This is what I'm talking about. Like, you're just throwing a bunch of stuff out there. Oh, would I be allowed to have an abortion in my country? Listen, first of all, she's not here for that. She's here to talk about life beginning here and why she doesn't like abortion, why she believes it's illegal, make abortion illegal again. You're basically saying, well, if I go to my country, she's not a part of that country. She's in the United States. So how are you asking her about your country? How are you asking her that? And you're leaving out a very big point of that. You're leaving a very big point. If you're gonna get an abortion, it's not gonna matter where you got an abortion at. It's not gonna matter. If you want to get an abortion, that's what you're gonna do. I don't understand it. I don't understand your question.
I mean, okay, so
I don't know.
You're saying you get pregnant in your country?
My country, where an American man came to my country.
Sure.
Yes, and we had sex, and I conceived a U.S. citizen.
No, you're not conceiving a U.S. citizen if you're in your country. You're not. If an American man has sex with you, listen, it's plenty of American men who go to other countries and have kids, and they're not U.S. citizens. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I mean,
You don't know. Okay, see, I said it.
See what I mean? You see what I mean? That's exactly what I said she was going to do. You muddy up the waters and you say stuff that has nothing to do with anything, and then try to say, well, see, I told you, and she's going to say she don't know because she don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's why. She has no idea what you're talking about because you're just talking. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not an international lawyer, so it'd be
These are the things that you need to consider before you put up crap like this. You cannot
this
start
is the
talking
discussion
about.
we need to
You
have.
cannot talk about wanting to make things illegal without considering the things
You're
that
right.
happen.
We should just keep on killing the babies left and right and never have a discussion about this.
Exactly. So we should just do whatever we want to do. And you call this crap. You just made up a whole fucking scenario that you're totally wrong about, and then you're gonna sit here and say, well, we should just kill the baby. Well, you should put up crap like this because this is what happens when you put crap up like this. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm gonna tell you right now, I already know, because you feel as though you're black and she's white, and you upset about it. That's what it is. I can tell you right now, that's exactly why you're mad, because you're gonna bring that up somehow. I can see it already.
Is that what you want
No,
to say?
we should read books. We should study things, we should research
And that's
things
why we're having
before we
this
get up on
discussion.
stages of universities and act.
But you're wrong. You're saying we should read books. Obviously you don't even know what you're talking about. You didn't even know what you're talking about. You're like, we should read books. What are you talking about? You don't think that this lady who goes to all these campuses, and that's another thing too. I think a lot of young people think that they're the smartest people in the room. It doesn't matter. They're smarter than you. They're smarter than everybody. They're the smartest people in the room, and it don't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when, how, why. They're just the smartest motherfuckers in the room. And no matter what happens, they're going to be right. I think that that's exactly what a lot of young people do. I think that that's what they do.
Like fools, look at the thing that you have there.
What?
You're acting like a fool. You do not know what you.
What is abortion?
So let me get this right. You're saying that this lady who's going around the campuses telling people that abortion is wrong and showing people what happens to children when they get abortions, she's acting like a fool? She's acting like, okay, even if you don't agree with abortion, even if you say, hey, I believe a woman's right to choose, you're telling me that everything she's doing and educating people on things that people probably don't even know about, she's acting like a fool. I just want to know, what have you done? What have you done in society or any place else that would make me believe that you're on the same level as this woman helping people change their minds about certain things? And at least she's going and being passionate about what she's going through with. At least she's passionate about it. You're saying that she's acting like a fool because you disagree with how she's doing it, which is crazy to me.
What does abortion do?
Are you kidding me, bro? It is an exercise of my right to do what I want to with my body.
So just say you want to be a hoe. Just say that. Just say, listen, I want to be a hoe. Just say that. I wish more women would say, I want to be a fucking hoe. I wish y'all just say that. Just say, listen, I want to fuck whoever I want to fuck, and if I get pregnant, I just want to get rid of the baby. And I don't want to use condoms. I don't want to use protection. Let's just say that. Because you're in the same breath, you're arguing, oh, what about my right to my body? But you're asking someone else to do it for you. You ain't doing it by yourself. So this is what I mean. Like, y'all crack me up with this whole, oh, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. It's mine. How selfish is that? But it's my right to my body. No, just say I want to suck dick and I want to get fucked as much as I want to get fucked and get cummed in and have the baby and don't want to have the fucking child. Just say that instead of just trying to fucking cape and say, oh well, it's my body and I should be able to do what I want to do. Just say you want to be a fucking hoe. Just say that.
God gave you one womb. Well, I don't know how many wombs God gave you, but he didn't give you mine. So you can leave mine alone. That is all I'm trying to say to you.
An abortion?
Listen, I'm telling you, anytime I'm pregnant.
And this is exactly what I mean. Answer the question. You look, she answered your questions and she listened to your rhetoric, but now all of a sudden you don't want to answer the question.
I will have an abortion. I don't know about you. Because as you know as well, women
really proud of the student.
Women used to use hangers to your laws are not going to make your laws are not going to make abortion impossible. Your laws are making abortion.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So why the fuck are you up here, standing up here arguing? You basically saying, well, they're not gonna make abortions impossible because women are gonna do it anyway. Well, then, bitch, go do it. Go fucking do it. Like, this cracks me up. You're just getting up here because you have an issue with something else. Your issue isn't abortion. Your issue is basically you want to do whatever you want to do. That's the issue. That's your issue. I want to be able to fuck and do whatever I want to do, and no one can tell me. That's your issue.
Inaccessible, and people
That's why we
will
fight
still
to
have
make it illegal and unthinkable. That's why I said at the beginning of my presentation, our goal in the pro-life movement is twofold. But I'm asking you a question. What happens in an abortion?
I get to choose what is
exactly. That's what they do when they don't have an answer. That's what they do right there. They don't listen to what you're saying. Most of these young kids, they don't listen because whatever you're saying to them is irrelevant. You could be telling them the fucking nuclear codes on how to get whatever and do whatever. You could be telling them anything and they don't listen because they already have a preset notion already drummed up in their head. It's already a preset in their head. So she already went into this argument with this, okay, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this. And she's going to probably say this. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this. And it doesn't matter what she says. Well, you're not going to listen. No. Why should I listen to her? She don't know what the fuck she's talking about anyway.
If there's nothing wrong with what happens in abortion, then tell me what happens in abortion. If it's so good, tell me what happens in abortion.
A fetus, a clump of cells that I did not ask to be here, they can go. They can go.
This is what I mean. You don't care. Just say that. A clump of cells. A clump of cells of what? They don't want to ever answer that question. I don't understand how people don't just admit it. Listen, if you don't agree with it, it's cool. You don't have to agree with it. But at least admit what it is. A clump of cells, if you want to say, because y'all you got that term from some scientists. Or you got that term from someone else. You didn't make up that term. You didn't make up that term. So I don't know why y'all girls keep using that term. Y'all didn't make that up. A clump of cells. So if it's a clump of cells, the next question is a clump of cells of what? And is that clump of cells a living organism? That's what they're saying. So if you say, oh, well, it's a clump of cells and it doesn't begin until a heartbeat. Life begins at conception. There's always a starting point. So I don't understand why you just can't be real about it and say, yeah, life begins whenever, but I don't give a fuck when it begins. I don't care. I just want to do what I want to do. You better off saying that, and then that'll just trump her old argument. But what y'all try to do is, y'all try to justify the killing of children or the killing of, or whatever. Y'all try to justify it by saying stuff like that. I don't care. Well, it's a clump of cells. And then when someone says to you, well, what is a clump of cells of? And you say, a fetus. What is a fetus? It's a clump of cells. It's like, well, it's a fetus of a baby. It's a clump of cells of a child. It begins in the beginning, right? That's what happens.
That person,
I'm a clump of cells. Can you abort me?
I would, because I don't know what you're up there doing today.
Exactly. This is what I mean. Because you disagree with her, you would abort her. Just say, listen, the word abortion, short for, the word abort means to part ways from the mission. You know what I'm saying? Abortion, of course, means a little bit more, but abort is abort the mission. Most women that want to have an abortion, they don't want to conceive, so they don't want to go on that mission. So they abort the mission. She's so angry at this woman that she doesn't know. She'll sit here and say, because I disagree with you and what you're doing, I basically would kill you. That's basically what she's saying. I would. She clearly said, so I'm a clump of cells. Would you abort me? And she said, I would abort you because I don't like what you're doing. Because you're hurting my fucking feelings. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I don't know what you're up there doing today. You need to sit down with a book and you need to sit down. I don't know if you need to enroll at the university.
Explain to me what happens to abortion. So a clump of cells.
And that's what I mean. All the insults in the world is not going to save you. You can sit here and try to be cool in front of your fucking friends. That shit ain't going to save you because once the shit hit online, people are going to say you look like a fucking retard. That's what people are going to look at you and say. The majority of people are going to say, listen, look at this girl in the background with her mouth open. Like, oh, I can't believe that this black woman is saying that. Why would she say that? Knowing that abortions kill more black people in this country than any other. That's statistically. And y'all can look that up. I don't give a fuck if they say, well, more white women get abortions. No, that's not true. More black women get abortions in this country. And half of them don't want to get abortions. They peer pressured into doing it. Or they pressured into doing it. So when you get women like her, who sit here and tries, instead of having a constructive dialogue, she wants to lob insults. Like, oh, well, you need to go read a book. You're at a university. Like, get the fuck out of here. Won't you have a conversation?
You know, and you do not know what happens when you make laws like this. You do not understand.
You don't know either. You're not even trying to make anything better. You're basically just saying, well, I gotta keep stopping.
What your Roe versus Wade world would look like. And you think it's funny. That's the same thing I said to you outside. You think this is funny?
You're the one laughing, though. This is another thing that I hate about young people. They always doing shit, and they'll be doing the same exact thing, and they'll say, you doing it. I totally hate that about young people.
Important discussion to have, man.
Half the people in this room are on student loans, and you want them to have children. You know how much children cost? You're privileged as hell.
Exactly. I told you she was gonna go to that. I told you. I knew it. She has a personal issue with her because, well, not personal, but she has an issue with her because she's white and she's black. And she don't like the fact that this white woman is telling them. Because she sat here and said, most of us have student loans. Most of us have debt. You want us to have kids? Well, make better choices, bitch. Make fucking better choices. Why the fuck are you going to blame her for her wanting to be on her stance? She has her children. Whether she's privileged or not, she has her children. She made her choice. You need to make better choices. You can't use fucking abortion as a contraceptive and say, hey, listen, listen, I don't give a fuck. Because listen, let's be clear here. Your whole attitude is fucked up. From the gate, your attitude was fucked up. And it's still fucked up. But you're trying to make it seem like you're the victim. You're not the victim. This lady is here to basically show people or teach people about why they shouldn't get abortions, right? Your whole argument is, well, you're taking women's rights away. No, she's not telling you that they're taking women's rights away. Obviously, she's saying she wants abortion to be illegal. So eventually, that's what she's saying. But she also is saying, well, if you do have, if this is what happens when you have a baby, she wants to scare the living shit out of you. She wants to scare the living shit out of these girls so they can make better choices, so they won't have kids or so they won't get pregnant. You can't get an abortion if you're not pregnant. If you're responsible, then you won't have to get an abortion. That's the whole idea. And miss me with the whole rape and incest shit. Miss me with that. Because that's an extreme case. We're talking about women who willingly get pregnant or willingly have sex without condoms. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about women who gets raped and by their uncle or whatever. We're not talking about that. And you know that. Because you ain't stupid.
Your privileges, how you have 4 kids, they have medical issues. I cannot afford a medical bill, $1,000 medical bill, as such that half of these children in here cannot afford.
Just say that. Just say you want to fuck whoever you want to fuck. Just say that. Like what? Like why are you trying to listen? You going to college, right? And obviously you're going to a pretty good college. And you're saying you're privileged as hell. Bitch, you're going to college. Who's paying for that? Are you going in on being academic or are you a sport athlete? What are you? Why are you there? Is somebody paying for it? Is your parents paying for it? Somebody paying for it. Somebody.
And you're making these laws because you can afford a $1,000 bill.
What happens in
Can you afford a $1,000 medical bill right now? Yes, you can. But half the people in this room.
This is what I mean. So you basically want to clump everybody in together. Well, listen, I can't afford a $1,000 medical bill, but most medical bills are more than $1,000. What are you talking about? Maybe 99% of them are more than $1,000. And most of y'all got Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. Or y'all got some type of health insurance through your parents. So what do you mean? What are you saying? Like you're just arguing just to argue and you're trying to get people on your side. But you just don't want to admit that you just want to be a fucking hoe. Just say I want to fuck mad men or I want to be a hoe. I want to be able to do what the fuck I want to do. Just say that. Like instead of saying like you would have been better off coming up there saying, you know, I'm gonna be real. I want to get an abortion whenever I want. And I don't like the fact that you're trying to stop that because I like to fuck. And I like to fuck multiple men. And I like to, if I get pregnant, I don't want to take care of that. I don't like responsibility. And not one time did you say, you know what, maybe us young women need to be more responsible or be more accountable about our actions. Maybe we need to do that.
Can't afford it. And then you stand up there talking about, oh, let's give women what they need. Women do not need, why are we putting women in a position that they need to be supported? Why can't women be independent on their own?
You can't be independent if you're asking someone to give you an abortion. That's what that's what I'm trying to understand. What is your logic? You can make the choice, but you still have to ask somebody to do it for you. Some people are not comfortable with doing it. Like, why can't you understand that?
Why can't women just live in a world where they can make their own decisions on their own bodies and their own time? I do not need you to help me. I do not need you to give me anything. Like, let me do what I want.
And this is what I mean. I can tell you right now, you probably had an abortion already. And you're upset because you probably didn't want to have that abortion. You're upset about it. And she is touching on some things that really bothers you because you went all over the place.
with my
But
body.
it's not just your body when we talk about abortion.
You're a
We're
whole
talking
cunt.
about
Yeah, that's the way it is, and I
two
don't.
human beings.
And
Two human beings.
at
So
the
you
beginning of
and a child.
it, I said you were going to say the words "I don't know" before I was done, and you did. You do not know what you're up here doing.
You didn't
So
answer my
please
question
go
about
and read a book.
You sound crazy. You sound crazy. Go read a book. Go read a book. What book? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what I mean. Like, what does reading a book have to do with the argument? You only said that because you want to lob an insult to make it seem like she don't know what she's talking about. That's what I mean. But your whole argument is flawed because you made up some bullshit in the beginning. Then you turned around and said, "Oh, well, you gotta understand. Well, there's a lot of people in here that can't afford me. You're privileged as hell." Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This lady goes around to different colleges and talks about why she believes abortion should be illegal. She puts her life on the line because people will kill her. And you actually just sat here and just said that you would have. So I don't understand. Instead of having a dialogue, you wanted to have an argument. That's the problem with young kids today. The problem is they want to have an argument. They don't want to have a dialogue about nothing because they don't want to ever be wrong. Because God forbid if that lady had taught her something different that she didn't get from this book that she's talking about.
Uneducated, unprivileged. What else did you call me? You want like throw any other things at me about?
Nobody's doing a damn thing.
This is exactly why we're here. Because we need to be able to have this discussion. That's an important question. What happens? What's the citizen? Ma'am, you're done.
I told you this already. Don't look at me.
Yes, because you come here and don't want to have a conversation. You want to shout. We get it. But this is an important discussion to have. What is the legal status of a fetus, of a child who's conceived by two Americans internationally? I don't know how we're going to talk about it. That's going to be a hard discussion to have. And we're going to have to figure it out. Maybe citizenship only gets applied in the country of your birth. But this is an important discussion to have. But we don't even have these discussions in America today because we say, just have the abortion because it's my body, my damn choice. But guess what? It's not your body. There's another human being that we're talking about. And in the pro-life movement, we say both her body and the child's body have equal value because they're both human persons.
Man, I tell you, man. That was a very fascinating video. And it just goes to show you the time people we living in with these kids, man. They just do whatever they want and they don't care. They don't care about nothing but how they feel. And it doesn't matter anything. Everything is just what it is, how they feel. There's no, oh, well, this is what I believe, and it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you said. This is what I believe. And that's what it is. And I don't roll with it, man. I don't roll with it. I think that woman, that young girl, was very misinformed, and I think she just threw a bunch of insults out there. It wasn't to me, she didn't say anything that was constructive on any level. It was just, okay, go read a book. Oh, you up there privileged as hell. It's like, oh, because this woman up here telling you that you shouldn't get an abortion, she's privileged as hell. Like, come on, man. Come on. Torture talk.